Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Purnawika Dwi. I am from class 3A in English Education Department. Okay, in this opportunity, I will explain to you all about articles. S, apostrophe S, and of. A, we normally use S when the first noun is a person or an animal. For example, the manager's office. It is not the office of the manager. The other example, Mr. Evans, the actor, the hairstyle, a police officer's hat. Otherwise, with things we normally use of, for example, the door of the room. It is not the room's door. And the other example, the beginning of the story. It is not the story's beginning. Sometimes you can use S when the first noun is a thing. For example, the book's title or the title of the book. B, you can usually use S when the first noun is an organization. It is mean a group of people, so you can say, for example, the government's decision or decision of the government. The other example, the company's success or the success of the company. It is also possible to use S with a place. For example, the city's new theater, the world population, French system of government, and Italy's large city. C. After a singular noun, we use S. After a plural noun, which end in S, we use only an apostrophe. For example, my sister's room, it means one sister. My sister's room, it means more than one sister. Mr. Carter's house, the Carter's house, it means Mr. and Mrs. Carter. If a plural noun does not end in S, we use S. For example, a children's book. Note that you can use S after more than one noun. For example, Jack and Jill's wedding, Mr. and Mrs. Carter's house. But we will not use S in a sentence like this. For example, I met the wife of the man who lent us the money. It means the man who lent us the money, it's too long to be followed by S. Note you can use S without a following noun. For example, Tom's apartment is much larger than Anne's. It means Anne's apartment. D. You can also use S with time words, tomorrow, and etc. For example, tomorrow's meeting has been cancelled. The next example, do you still have last Saturday's newspaper? You can also say yesterday's, today's, this evening's, next week's, Monday's, and etc. We also use S or only an apostrophe, comma with plurals with period of time. For example, I have a week's vacation. I have 3 weeks vacation. I need 8 hours sleep a night. My house is very here, only about 5 minutes. The next, reflexive pronouns, myself, yourself, and etc. Myself. A. The reflexive pronouns are singular, myself, yourself, it is one person, himself, or herself, or itself. Plural, ourself, yourself, it means more than one person, and themselves. We use a reflexive pronoun when the subject and object are the same. Tom cut himself while he was shaving. It means not Tom cut him. For example, The old lady sat in a corner talking to herself. The other example, don't get angry, control yourself, said to one person. If you want more to eat, help yourself. It means said to more one person. The party was great. We enjoy ourselves very much. But we do not use myself and etc. after bring or take something with. For example, I went out and took an umbrella with me. It means not with myself. B. We do not use myself and etc. after feel, relax, and concentrate. For example, I feel great after going for a swim. It means not I feel myself great. The other example, why don't you try and concentrate? It is good to relax. So we do not normally use myself and etc. after wash, dress, shave. For example, I got up, shave, wash, and dress. It means not save myself and etc. But we say, I treat myself. Not how we use meet. What time shall we meet? It means not meet ourselves or meet us. C. Study the difference between self and each other. For example, Tom and Anne stood in front of the mirror and looked at themselves. It means Tom and Anne looked at Tom and Anne. But Tom looked at Anne and Anne looked at Tom. They looked at each other. You can use one another instead of each other. For example, Sue and Anne don't like each other. It means or one another. D. We also use myself and etc. in another way. For example, who fix your bicycle for you? Nobody. I fix it myself. I fix it myself. It means I fix it, not anybody else. We use myself here to emphasize I. Here are some more examples. I am not going to do it for you. You can do it yourself. The next, E. By myself or yourself and etc. It means alone. For example, I like living by myself. Did you go on vacation by yourself? Jack was sitting by himself in a corner of the cafe. The next, a friend of mine, my own house. A friend of mine or a friend of Tom's. We say a friend of mine or yours, his, hers, ours, and theirs. It's not a friend of me, you, him, and etc. For example, a friend of mine is coming to stay with me next week. It means not a friend of me. The other example, we went on vacation with some friend of ours. It means not some friend of us. And we also say a friend of Tom's, a friend of my brother, and etc. For example, that man over there is a friend of my brother's. The other example, it was a good idea of Tom's to go swimming. B. My own or your own and etc. You cannot say an own house, an own car and etc. But you must use my, your, his, her, its, our, and their before own. For example, my own house, your own car, and her own room. My own, it means something that is only mine, not shared or borrowed. For example, the Browns live in an apartment, but they did like to have their own house. It means not an own house. The next example, I don't want to share with anyone. I want my own room. So, you can also use own to say that you do something yourself instead of somebody else doing it for you. For example, do you grow your own vegetables? It means, do you grow them yourself in your garden instead of buying them? The other example, Anne always cut her own hair. It's the mean she cut it herself or she doesn't go to the hairdresser. The next, all of, no, none of, most of, and etc. A. You can use this word except none and half with a noun. For example, all cars have wheels. I have no money. So be careful with most. For example, most tourists do not visit this part of the town. It means not most of tourists, but not the most tourists. For example, Cure is much richer than most people. B. You can also use this word except no alone without a noun. For example, I need some money. Do you have any? Yes, but not much. We usually say each one instead of each alone. For example, there were 3 boxes on the table. Each one was a different color. C. You can also use this word except no with of. So you can say some of the people, all of these cars, none of my money, and etc. When you use this word with of, you need add the, this, that, this, those, my, your, his, and etc. You cannot say some of people, all of cars, but you must say some of the people and all of these cars and etc. For more example, some of the people at the party were very friendly. Most of my friends live in Montreal. So with all and half, we usually leave out of. All my friends, it means all of my friends. Half the money, it means half of the money, not the half. D. After all of or none of and etc. You can also use it, us, you, or them. For example, how many of these people do you know? None of them. Do any of you want to come to a party tonight? Do you like this music? Some of it, not all of it. And you must say all of and half of before it or us, you, and them. For example, all of us, it means not all us. Half of them, it means not half them. The next, both of, neither of, either, or either of. A. We use both, neither, and either when we are talking about two things. You can use this word with a noun. For example, both restaurants are very good. It means not the both restaurants. The other example, neither restaurant is expensive. So we can go to either restaurant. I don't care. Either, it means one or the other. It doesn't matter which one. For example, I didn't like either restaurant. It means not the one of the other. B. You can also use both, neither, either, with of, when you use this word with of, you always need the, des, dus, my, your, his, and etc. You cannot say both of restaurant. You have to say both of the restaurant or both of this restaurant and etc. The more example, both of these restaurants are very good. Neither of the restaurant we went to or were expensive. We can go to either of those restaurants. I don't mind. With both, you can leave out of, so you can say, for example, both my parents or both of my parents. See, after both of or neither of or either of, you can also use as, you, and them. For example, can either of you speak Spanish? I want Tom and Anne to come, but neither of them want to. You must say both of before us, you, and them. For example, both of us were very tired. It means not both us. D. After neither of, you can use a singular or a plural verb. For example, neither of the children want to go to bed. The other example, neither of us is or are married. E. You can say both and neither, nor, and either, or. Study this example. Both Tom and Anne were late. The other example, they were both tired and hungry. The next F, you can also use both or neither or either alone. For example, is he British or American? Neither. He is Australian. The other example, do you want tea or coffee? Either. It doesn't matter. I could not decide which one to choose. I like both. The next, some and any. Some or any plus one, body, things, and where. A. In general, we use some in positive sentence and any in negative sentence. For example, Anne has bought some new shoes. The other example, I have got something in my A. So we use any in the following sentence because the meaning is negative. For example, he left home without any money. It means he didn't have any money. The other example, she refused to say anything. It means she didn't say anything. B. We often use any or anyone or anything and etc. after if. For example, if any letters arrive for me, can you send them to this address? The other example, if anyone has any questions, I will be glad to answer them. So the following sentences are without if, but they have the idea of if. For example, anyone who wants to take the exam must give me their names before Friday. The other example, I will send on any letters that arrive for you. It means if there are any. C. In question, we usually use any, not some. For example, do you have any money? Or has anybody seen Tom? But we often use some in question when we expect the answer. For example, what's wrong with your eye? Have you got something in it? It means, I think you have something in your eye and I expect you to say yes. So we use some in questions, especially when we offer or ask for things. For example, will you like some tea? And can I have some of these apples? D. Any also has another meaning. Any, anyone, anybody, anything, anywhere can mean it does not matter which or who, what, and where. For example, you can judge any of these buses. They all go downtown. It means it does not matter which of these buses. E. Someone or somebody or anyone or anybody are singular words. For example, someone wants to see you. And the other example is anybody there. But we often use this or them, there after these words. For example, if anyone wants to leave early, they can. It means he or she can. The other example, somebody has piled there. It means his or her. Coffee on the carpet. No, none, any, no or any, one, body, things, and where. A. No, none, no one, nobody, nothing, and nowhere. We use these negative words especially at the beginning of a sentence all alone. For example, no one or nobody came to visit me when I was in the hospital. The other example, no system of government is perfect. So you can also use this word in the middle or at the end of a sentence, but don't use not with this word. They are already negative. For example, I saw nothing. It means not I didn't see nothing. So in the middle or at the end of a sentence, we more often use not, any, anyone, anybody, anything, and anywhere. For example, I didn't see anything. It means I saw nothing. So where there is another negative word, you don't need not. For example, nobody tells me anything. It means people don't tell me anything. B. No and none. We use no with a none. No, it means not a or not any. For example, we had to walk because there was no bus. It means there was not a bus. So we use none alone without a none. For example, how much money do you have? None. Or we use none of. None of these shops, none of my money, none of it or us, you, and them. After none of plus a plural word, it means none of the girls, of none of them, and etc. You can use a singular or a plural verb. A plural verb is more useful, especially in spoken English. For example, none of the people I met were English. The next C. After no one or nobody, we often say they or them or their. For example, nobody called. Did they? It means did he or she. The other example, no one in the class did their homework. It means his or her homework. D. You can use any or no with comparative, any better or no bigger, and etc. For example, do you feel any better today? It means do you feel better at all? Is said to someone who felt sick yesterday. The other example, we have waited long enough. I am not waiting any longer. It means not even a minute longer. The next is much, many, little, few, a lot, and plenty. A. Much, many, few, and little. We use much and little with uncountable nouns. For example, much time, much luck, little energy, little money. So we use many and few with plural nouns. For example, many friends, many people, few cars, and few countries. B. A lot of, lots of, plenty of. We use a lot of or lots of or plenty of with uncountable and plural nouns. A lot of luck, lots of time, plenty of money. Plenty it means more than enough. For more example, have some more to eat? No, thank you. I have had plenty. The other example, there is no need to hurry. We have plenty of time. C. We use much and many mainly in negative sentence and questions. For example, we didn't spend much money. So, do you have many friends? In positive sentence, it is usually better to use a lot of. Much is not normally used in positive sentence. For example, we spend a lot of money. It means not we spend much money. The other example, there has been a lot of rain recently. It means not much rain. But we use too much and so much in positive sentence. For example, I can't drink this tea. There is too much sugar in it. D. Little or a little or few or a few. Little and few without a are negative ideas. For example, hurry up. There is little time. It means not much and not enough time. So we often use very before little and few. For example, there is very little time. So a little and a few are more positive ideas. A little or a few, it means some, a small amount, or a small number. For example, let's go and have a cup of coffee. We have a little time before the train leaves. It means sometimes enough time to have a drink. So, but only a little and only a few have a negative meaning. For example, hurry up, we only have a little time. The other example, the town was very small. There were only a few houses. The next, all, every, and wool. A. All, everyone, everybody, and everything. We do not normally use all to mean everyone or everybody. For example, everybody enjoyed the party. It means not all enjoy. Sometimes you can use all to mean everything, but it is usually better to say everything. For example, he thinks he knows everything. It means not know all. But you can use all in the expression all about. For example, they taught us all about their vacation. So we also use all to mean the only things. For example, all I have eaten today is a sandwich. It means the only thing I have eaten. B. We use a singular verb after every, everyone, everybody, and everything. For example, every seat in the theater was taken. Third example, everybody looks tired today. But we often use they or them or their after everyone or everybody, especially in spoken English. For example, has everyone got their tickets? It means his or her tickets. The other example, everybody said they will come. It means he or she will come. C. All and wool. We use wool mainly with singular nouns. For example, have you read the wool book? It means all the book, not just part of it. So we say the, my, her, and etc. before will, compare the whole book or all the book, her whole life or all her life. You can also say a whole. For example, Jack ate a whole loaf of bread yesterday. It means a complete loaf. We do not normally use whole with uncountable nouns. For example, all the money, it means not the whole money. The, every, or all wool with time words. We use every to say how often something happens. So we say every day, every week, every Monday, every 10 minutes, every 3 weeks, and etc. For example, we go out every Friday. So, all day, the whole day, it means the complete day. For example, we spend all day or the whole day on the beach. Not that we say all day or all week and etc. Not all the day of all the week. Thank you all, and I am sorry for my mistake. And as I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.